Okay, so today is Sunday, 4th of May 2025, 11 a.m. Weather's a bit cloudy, maybe a few showers later today. Air temperature 28 degrees centigrade, but if the sun does come out, it'll get above 30 degrees in the afternoon probably. So I've just come back from a 2-week vacation, so not been any videos for a few weeks, but the spring breeding season is really very well underway now, with average daily temperatures 25 degrees centigrade and above, and at these sort of temperatures eggs will hatch in about 7 days, and growth rate of the fry should be about maximum. Now, as usual, I was impatient and I started collecting eggs in March, but it is, as usual, not very productive, because at these lower temperatures in early spring, the eggs may take over 2 weeks to hatch, which means a lot of them may get mold, and the fry's growth rate is quite slow. So it probably really wasn't worthwhile the effort doing it, but I always do anyway, so there we are. And just an example, these Orochi fry in here, maybe you can see them, already several weeks old, but they're still very small. So if I have the time, I usually collect eggs in the spawning mops every day. If I don't have the time, maybe every couple of days. I don't really like to leave it longer than a couple of days, in case snails eat the eggs, and in some parent fish sometimes develop the habit of eating their own eggs. So I don't really like to leave it for too long. I think, and the snails also like to lay eggs on the spawning mops. I think you can see here, right in the middle, there are a couple of bunches of snail eggs. Now they've just appeared overnight. They weren't there yesterday. Still quite early in the day, so not too many MEDAKA eggs on there. It'll be more later in the afternoon, but I thought I'd have a look now. So the one other thing is that, you could just take this, and when more eggs on there, put it in a bucket of water and just leave it hatch out, leave the eggs to hatch out naturally. But because the snails already laid eggs on there as well, the snails' eggs would hatch out, and I'd have a whole lot of snails in the bucket, which is not a good idea. So I always pick the eggs off and hatch them separately. Now, usually I pick the eggs off the spawning mop one by one and wipe them off on this thing. It's a bit of ceramic tile with an old sock stretched over. It's kept damp, and then placing the eggs on there and moving them around means you wipe off the sticky filaments, and the eggs don't all clump together when you put them in an egg container. So whether we can see what's happening here, see eggs along here, just take them off, wipe them on there one by one. Yeah, a bit time consuming, but if the weather's pleasant outdoors, I'm happy doing it. Just sitting in the shade, taking my time, having a few cups of coffee, and that suits me very well. And this is my usual setup for hatching the eggs. This year I'm using larger IKEA tubs as the hatching containers. Means I can leave the fry in there longer to grow before I move them to grow out tubs. And that's what we do, that's what I do. Have these floating cut down yogurt pots, drop the eggs in there. They've got notches cut out the side, and when the fry hatch out, they can just swim into the big container and stay there for quite a few weeks until they get too big. Some that grow at a faster rate, I catch and move to a grow out tub earlier. Now this year I had to throw all my cut down yogurt pots away that I put the eggs in because the plastic was deteriorating, and I tried to use these little bowls here. Again, you can see cut notches in the side for the fry to swim out, but they didn't float as well. So back to cut down yogurt pots. It meant I had to increase my yogurt intake for quite some time so that I could collect enough yogurt pots to use for the eggs. And now I've got enough, but I still eat a lot of yogurt. Very good for bacteria in intestines, etc. And then I just leave the eggs to hatch. Here I might have, for example, three tubs in there, put in a lot of eggs. I don't fuss about sort of trying to remove every egg that goes mouldy. I've got such a large number of eggs that it's okay if I have a low hatching rate. In nature, I mean, the percentage survival rate is very low anyway, and because I keep MEDAKA outdoors, I take the view that I only want to keep the strongest embryos to survive, so that the MEDAKA strain remains robust enough to survive outdoor conditions. I mean, of course, if I get only a few eggs, then I pamper them so that I can get as many MEDAKA as I can, and then I raise the MEDAKA in clean water. Now, this is green water. I really don't believe in green water. It just happened I didn't put up the shade cloth early enough and the water has turned green. I don't really mind it, but if it starts to get any greener than this, then I'll have to do some quite drastic water changes. I mean, MEDAKA are carnivores. They're not omnivores. They don't really going to get much nutrients, much food from green water. The phytoplankton in there are plant-based, so MEDAKA really need high protein diet, and so I just feed them ordinary powdered fry food, and hopefully by the time next few weeks are over, I will have a nice little fry hatching out. And that's about it. I'll concentrate on collecting eggs and hatching them out for the next 6 weeks or so in my subtropical climate. It starts to get very hot and there's very heavy summer rainfall towards the end of July, and it's important to give the spring batch of new fry enough time to grow and become strong, by this sort of summer weather, extreme summer weather towards the end of July, so that they can survive okay during those sorts of conditions. Okay,